Are you looking for a job in Poland? Finding employment can be a good way to start your life in a new country. However, it is important to be careful. Not every job offer is honest. Sometimes, during recruitment, you are promised one thing, but after arriving, you discover that the salary, position, or working conditions are completely different. That is why, before you say yes, check 5 basic things. First, who is your employer? Second, where exactly will you work? Third, what exactly will you be doing? Fourth, how much will you earn, and what costs may be deducted from your salary? And fifth, under what conditions will you be employed? Now let's look at these questions step by step. Do not accept the first job offer you find without checking it. Be especially careful if someone promises a very high salary for simple work, an immediate departure, or a job without a contract. You should also be careful if someone promises a guaranteed visa or residence card in exchange for a large payment. An attractive offer does not necessarily mean that it is a scam. But it should encourage you to check all the information carefully. First, find out who is actually offering you the job. Ask for the full name of the company and the employer's details. Check the address, contact details, and place of work. If an agency or intermediary contacts you, make sure you know who your formal employer will be. Remember, the person conducting the recruitment is not always the person or company that will actually employ you. Working through an agency is not necessarily a problem. The problem begins when you do not know who employs you, who pays your salary, or what you are being charged for. Ask for clear information about the agency, employer, position, salary, contract, costs, accommodation, and transport. And do not sign documents you do not understand. Be especially careful if someone demands a large amount of money for a guaranteed job, visa, residence card, or work permit. If you are paying for a legal service, it should be clear exactly what you are paying for, who you are paying, and what you will receive in return. Do not hand over money based only on a promise. Ask for written confirmation of the service and a document stating the amount of the fee. Another important issue is your salary. Check exactly how much you will earn and whether the amount is gross or net. Find out how many working hours the amount refers to, when you will receive your salary, and what costs may be deducted. If you hear, it will be less at first, but you will earn more later, ask for the exact conditions in writing. You should also find out exactly what work you will be doing. The job offer should clearly describe the position and your duties. If you are offered one type of work during recruitment but, after arriving, you are expected to perform completely different duties, check your contract and the documents concerning your right to work. Do not assume that you have to agree simply because you have already arrived in Poland. You should know exactly where you will work. Simply being told that the job is, for example, in Warsaw is not enough. Ask for the address, the number of work locations, information about transport, travel time, and who pays for the journey. This is especially important for seasonal, construction, warehouse, production, and agency work. If accommodation is part of the job offer, check its conditions as well. Ask where the accommodation is located, how many people share a room, and how much it really costs. Also find out whether there is a deposit, who pays for utilities, and how transport to work is organized. Remember, free accommodation does not always mean that you will have no additional costs. Protect your documents. Do not hand over the original of your passport or residence card without a clear reason. If someone wants to keep your document, ask why they need it, for how long, and when it will be returned to you. Checking a document is not the same as keeping it. It is also a good idea to keep copies of your most important documents. During recruitment, you may be asked to send a photo of your passport, residence card, PESEL number, or bank details. Do not send this information to random people. First check who you are communicating with, which company is conducting the recruitment, and why they need your data. One of the most important rules is, do not sign a contract you do not understand. Check the type of contract, the employer's name, the position, salary, working hours and workplace, as well as any additional costs. If the contract is in Polish and you do not understand it, ask someone to explain it to you. Do not sign it simply because someone says it is a standard contract. Be especially careful if you are asked to start working without a contract. If someone says, "Start working first and we will sign the contract later," or "You do not need a contract," stop and think carefully. Such proposals may mean illegal employment. If you have doubts, do not start working until you have checked your situation. Remember also that legal residence and legal employment are two separate issues. Also keep information about the job offer. Save the advertisement, messages, emails, salary information, employer details, and payment confirmations. Do not delete your conversations before you start work. If the actual conditions later turn out to be different from what you were promised, this information may help clarify the situation. Let's summarize the most important warning signs. Be careful if you do not know the full name of the company, do not know who your employer is, do not receive a contract, or someone promises an unusually high salary without clear details. Also stop and think if someone demands a large payment for a guaranteed job, wants to keep your passport, changes the conditions after you arrive, or pressures you to sign documents quickly. One warning sign does not necessarily mean that it is a scam. But several warning signs together should encourage you to check the offer very carefully. If you suspect a scam, do not give any more money or documents until you have clarified the situation. Keep all information about the offer in your communication with the employer or intermediary. If a problem has already occurred, consider seeking professional help from the appropriate Polish institutions. Finally, remember these 5 questions. Who is my employer? Where will I work? What work will I do? How much will I earn, and what costs will be deducted? And under what conditions will I be employed? If you do not know the answer to any of these questions, do not rush to start work. A good job offer should be specific, clear, and possible to verify. If you do not understand the conditions, ask questions. If you do not know the employer, check them. If you do not have a contract, do not start work until you have checked your situation. And if someone pressures you to pay quickly, sign a document, or hand over your documents, stop and check who you are dealing with.
The information on this page is of a general nature. In a specific situation, you should check the current rules and use information from relevant Polish institutions.